Welcome everyone as we learn Chok Yisrael for Parshas Teruma, Yom Sheni, day 2, with the help of Hashem. Avnei Shoyim, of the items that Moshe Rabbeinu collected as a Teruma for the Mishkan from those that were Nodav Libo, those that gave with a generosity of heart, were the Avnei Shoyim, the onyx stones, the Avnei Meluim, and stones that went into the settings in the Choshen, La'ephod, and these were for the apron, on the shoulder straps, the Lachoshen, and for the breastplate. Avnei Burlod, the Avnei Ashlamusa, the Shaka Be'efoda Ubechushna. Rashi says Avnei Shoyim, Shtayim Hutzru Kusham, 2 are needed, L'tzarech Ephod, for the shoulder straps of the apron, Ha'omer Bavata Tetzava, which is discussed in Ata Tetzava. Now, what does it mean, Avnei Miluim? Miluim, al Shem She'oisim Lahem Bezav Moshev, they made a setting for the precious stones out of gold, Kamin Guma, like a cavity, a pit, a socket. V'noisnun ha'even sham, and they put the precious stone in that socket, l'malois ha'guma, to fill up that cavity, and therefore kruyim avnei meluim. They're stones that fill up the guma. Or mokam ha'moshev, and the place where it sits is kari mishbetes. It's called mishbetes, like we'll see later on. La'ephod u'lechoshen, avonim Avnei Hashoyim, the onyx stones, La'ephod, the Avnei Meluim, and the stones that filled the cavities, L'choshen. The Choshen ve'ephod, and the makeup of the Choshen and the ephod, Mefurashim v'va'ata tetzava, ve'heim minei tachshin, and there are decorative items worn by the Kohen Gadol. Vasili mikdash, make for me a sanctuary, v'shachanti b'seichem, and I will live in it. V'yavdun kodamai mikdash v'ashrei shchinti b'neion. Rashi says v'asuli mikdash or asuli shmi, for my name, beis kedusha, a house of holiness. K'chol asher ani ma'reh oischa, all which I will show you. A stavnis hamishkan, the structure of the mishkan. A stavnis kol kelav, and the structure of all its utensils. V'chein tasu. Rashi is going to point out, why does it say v'chein? Why doesn't it just say kein tasu? So you should do. We'll see. K'chol di'ano machazeh yasach yastmus mashkeno v'yastmus kol manoi v'chein ta'avdun, says Rashi, k'chol asher ani mara ischa, kan, like I will show you here, as tavnes hamishkan, hamikra azeh mechubel lemikra shelamala himenu. This pasuk is connected to what it says above, Vasili Mikdash, you should make me a tabernacle, what I'm going to show you. Hashem showed him an image of fire of all that he should do. V'chein tasu, now, not only that you should do now, but you should do l'dairos. Im ya'aved echad min hakelim. For example, if one of the utensils were lost, or when you make it not just for the Mishkan, but for the Beis Elamim, for the Batei Mikdashes, the Shulchan, the Menorah, Kiyaris, the Kiyar that they washed from, or Mechainis, the base of the Kiyar, Sha'asa Shleimai, Tavnis Elu Tasu, like these structures, you should do them. And if it wasn't going back on what was mentioned before, it should just say, and so you should do. We'll be talking about the making of the almayid in the midbar and the utensils. V'kein tasu means, and you should also do in the future, and it's going back also on v'asuli mikdash. V'asu arayin atzei shitim, you should make an aron, this would sat in the Kodesh Kedoshim, out of acacia wood, amasayim v'chetzi arkai, 2.5 amas long, v'ama v'chetzi rachbai, an am and a half wide, v'ama v'chetzi kamase, an am and a half high. Yavdun arona de'oi shitin, tartin amin upalga urke, v'amsa ufalga pusya, v'amsa ufalga rumei. Says Rashi, v'asu arayin, kimin araynais sha'osim b'loi regalim. This is like a chest made without feet. It didn't sit on a foot like certain dressers, but it was without feet. It sat on the floor. Asir and kimin ergas, it's made like a chest. Shekayrin in Old French, eskerin, yoshiv al shulav, sitting upon its bottom. And now we learn in Malachim, and here we go from the Mishkan in the Midbar to Shlomo HaMelech building the Beis HaMikdash. Vayifsalu bonei Shlomo uvonei Chiram va'givlim, and the builders of Shlomo and the builders of Chiram, who was an ally of Shlomo's, va'givlim, and the Givlim quarried the rock, v'yachinu ha'etzim, and they prepared the wood, v'avonim, and the stones, livnei sabayis, to build the temple. Vayi b'shmeina shana v'arba me'er shana l'tzeis b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim, and it was 480 years from the time that Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim. B'shana ha'rvius, in the 4th year of Shlomo HaMelech's reign, b'chodesh Ziv, that's the month of Iyar, hu chodesh hasheni, that's the 2nd month from Nisan, l'melech Shlomo al Yisrael, the 4th year of the reign of Shlomo on Klal Yisrael, vayiven habayis laHashem, and Baruch Hashem, they built the temple for Hashem. We should be zeicher to see soon the bayis shlishi b'be'er v'yameinu. V'habayis asher bona melech Shlomo laHashem, the bayis where King Shlomo built laHashem, shishim amim orkoi, it was 60 amma long. That means, when it says long, it means here from Mizrach to Marav, from east to west. Ve'esrim rachbai, 20 amas wide, from north to south. U'shloishim amma kimasei, and 30 amas tall. Ve'ulan al pnei heichal habayis, and the antechamber, which was before the Kodesh, esrim amma orkai. Now over here, it says that it was 20 amas long. Now here where it says 20 amas long, it means 20 amas, although here it says long, here when it says that it was 20 amas long, it means from Tzofan to Durham, not from east to west. It was 20 amas long from north to south. Al pnei reichav habayis, this is fronting the width of the house, and in other words, it's towards the east, fronting the width of the house. Now you'll say, but before when we said orkai, it meant from east to west. And now when it says orkai, it means from north to south. It's because whichever one is the longer one is called Eirich. So since in the Ulam, the longer one was from north to south, so that's called Orkai. So from north to south it was 20 amas, and Eser amas rachbai, and from east to west it was 10 amas, al pnei habayis, at the front of the house on the eastern side. Now, Shlomo HaMelech continues in Mishlei and tells us as follows. Eved maskil, a wise servant. Now, sadly, this wise servant is referring to Nebuchadnezzar or Rasha. And Rashi tells us that he was wise because he walked 3 steps in honor of Hashem. And therefore, because he did this, Yimshol b'ben Mevish, he was given permission to rule over a naughty child. He was given permission to rule over Klal Yisrael, and of course, attack Klal Yisrael and chase them out of their land. Ubesoich achim and from the midst of the brothers of the Shvatim, Yakaloi Knakla, he will divide the inheritance. In other words, Nebuchadnezzar would sack Yerushalayim and capture Eretz Yisrael. Matzreif lakesef. There is a refinery that refines silver. The Kur Lazov, and there's a crucible that refines gold. That means when we refine, it means it separates the dross, the imperfections of the silver and the gold. In that way, uvoichin libais Hashem. In that way, Hashem tests the heart of man and knows where there is good thoughts and where are a person's imperfections and flaws. Meira makshiv al svas oven. And we have to remember this always, that the Rebbeinu Shalom knows it should be an inhibition for us. We have to remember that Hashem knows Sisrei Salumas Kol Chai. He knows the secrets of every person. And if a person, before he engages in that which is improper, he should remember that the Rebbeinu Shalom knows it. And the Rebbeinu Shalom sees what is the dross in his mind. Meira makshiv al svas oven. Meira, says Rashi, is a rasha. A wicked person listens to sinful talk. Right? He listens to lashon hara. He listens to false testimony. Sheker mezin al lishayin havos. A liar listens to a destructive tongue. Who gives audience to a destructive tongue? A liar, one who doesn't have integrity. That's his audience. Loyeg l'rosh. If a person mocks the poor, now the poor, they're defenseless. So people of means can mock them and think that they could get away with it. He's only a poor man. I don't have to be afraid of him. I can treat him any way I want. But such a person that mocks the poor, he blasphemes his creator, because the Rebbeinu Shalom made him poor. So by mocking the poor, he's mocking the works of Hashem. Sameach la'ed, one who is happy over someone else's misfortune, lo yinakeh, will not escape. The person is happy over someone's misfortune, then the Rebbeinu Shalom will not let him get away with it. And now our adventure for today is the 19th parak of Masechta Shabbos. Rebbe Eliezer says, this is Rebbe Eliezer de Mila, he says, if they didn't bring the izemel, the knife for the bris milah before Shabbos, mevio b'Shabbos megula, you could bring it and carry it on Shabbos in the open. And you do it according to Rebbe Eliezer. He says you do it in the open because that's an honor to Shabbos, that it's an honor to the milah, that it supersedes the Shabbos. Ubesakana, in a time of persecution, when you're not allowed to circumcise, you have to hide it. Mechaseu, you should hide it, but do it al pi edim, with witnesses, that people shouldn't think that he's carrying something forbidden. So everybody will know, no, he's carrying the knife for the milah. Now this is only Rebbe Eliezer who says that machshirei milah, preliminaries of the milah, supersede the Shabbos. We don't hold that way. We hold that anything that can be done before Shabbos is not Daicha the Shabbos. V'aydam Rebbe Eliezer, and Rebbe Eliezer l'shitasa, he says, Karsim eitzim, we can cut wood on Shabbos. Lasais pkamim, in order to make coals. Lasais basil, to forge iron, in order to make a knife, if we didn't do it before Shabbos. However, Rebbe Kiva says no. Anything that you could have taken care of before Shabbos, ain't a doiches Shabbos. It doesn't supersede the Shabbos. V'sheyev shalasayis me'erev Shabbos, but if it can be done before Shabbos, like the Mila itself, that's doiches Shabbos. Then when it's Mila b'zmanai, it supersedes the Shabbos. Oisin kol tzarchei Mila b'Shabbos. All of the requirements of the Mila can be done on Shabbos. Mayalin, you could do the circumcision, or porin. Now, after cutting the foreskin, there's also a thin membrane that has to be torn and removed. You're allowed to do that on Shabbos too. Or moitzitzin, and you're allowed to suck out the blood. V'noistin aleh ispalinis, you could put upon it the bandage. V'chamoin, and you could put on it the cumin, but you can't crush it. Now, imloi shachak me'erev Shabbos, if you didn't crush the cumin before Shabbos, loyes b'shinav, you chew it with your mouth indirectly, v'noisin, and put it on the wound. Now, they also applied a mixture of wine and oil. If you didn't mix the wine and oil before Shabbos, me'erev Shabbos, you put it on separately, first wine and then oil. They had a shirt-like bandage that they put on the corona, they put on the top of the male organ in order that the skin shouldn't go back and cover the top of the organ. You can't make that shirt. But you could wrap a piece of cloth on it. Now, if they didn't bring that cloth before Shabbos, maybe, you could wrap a piece of cloth on your finger and bring it even from another courtyard, which is an Issa D'Rabbanan, where there's no Erev. Machitzin as a cotton, you could bathe the child, bein lefnei, with hot water, bein lefnei mila, both before the mila, with hot water that was prepared for before Shabbos, or bein la'achar mila, and after the mila, even if you don't have hot water, you could make it on Shabbos, because then it's a sakana. And when you bathe it, you do it indirectly, you mezalfin alav biyad, you pour it over the child with the hand, avaloi b'kli, but not with a utensil. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says that all preliminaries also supersede the Shabbos. Machitzin as a cotton, even by Yom HaShlishi shechali is b'Shabbos. You could even boil up hot water on the third day from the Mila that falls out on Shabbos, because the third day is considered a sakana, like we learn out from Shechem, when Shimon and Levi said, if you circumcise yourselves, we'll give you dina. On the third day, when they were in pain, they came and killed them. So you see that the third day is when, because they circumcise themselves, and you see the third day is when the pain is intense. So Rabbi Eliezer says you would be allowed to even warm up hot water to bathe the baby on the third day. Suffix v'androgynous. If the child is a suffix, that means we're not sure if it's a full-term child, if it's viable or not, or a hermaphrodite, which has both a siman of a man and a siman of a woman, so it's a suffix if it's a man or a barrier b'fnei atzma. We can't do the meal on Shabbos, we do the meal the next day. Rabbi Yehuda Matab androgynous. Rabbi Yehuda says the androgynous has a male organ, and therefore, if it was born and it's the 8th day, you could do the mila of an androgynous on Shabbos. If somebody has 2 children, Shabbos, they were twins, and one, its 8th day is Sunday, and one, the 8th day is Shabbos. And he went ahead and circumcised the Sunday baby on Shabbos, which for the Sunday baby it's the 7th day, so it's not a mitzvah, chayiv. So therefore he desecrated the Shabbos illegally, unwittingly, and he has to bring a chatas. But echad lomo be'erev Shabbos, echad lomo b'Shabbos. One was, its 8th day was Friday, and one the 8th day was Shabbos. V'shachach u'moleh shel erev Shabbos b'Shabbos. And he mauled the Friday baby on Shabbos, which is the 9th day, which is not doicha the Shabbos, but he got a mitzvah milah. See, when he did the 7th day, it wasn't even a mitzvah mila. But here, where he did the Friday baby on Shabbos, it's a mitzvah mila. It's the 9th day. It's not day for Shabbos. So Rabbi Eliezer, Mechayiv Chatas, he holds it's chayiv a sin offering because on the 9th day you're not allowed to desecrate the Shabbos, so it's chil Shabbos b'shoigeg. Rabbi Yeshua Paiter, Rabbi Yeshua says since he was taught b'dvar mitzvah, he was taught in the action of doing mitzvah, va'osa mitzvah, because the 9th day is a mitzvah, he's pater from Mechatas. Katan nima l'shmeina, a child is either circumcised on the 8th day, Tisha, the 9th day, Asar, the 10th day, Acharas, the 11th day, Ushnaim Asar. There are times where its official day is the 8th day, the official day is the 9th day, the official day is the 10th day, the official day is the 11th day, the official day is the 12th day. Loi pachis v'lo yoser, but never less than that, never more than that. Okay, son. Kedarka, if everything is straight, l'shmeina, the baby is circumcised on the 8th day. Noila l'bein hashmashas, if the baby is born at twilight between Monday and Tuesday. We're not sure if it's Monday or Tuesday. So you can't mal the baby 8 days later because maybe it's really Tuesday and it's the 7th day. So therefore, nima l'tisha, you mal the child from the 9th day for Monday. You have to wait an extra day because maybe it's Tuesday. So it's the 9th day for Monday. Bein hashmashas shel erev Shabbos. If the baby was born bein hashmashas on erev Shabbos, so here you can't do it on Shabbos because maybe it's a Friday baby, and Shabbos is not the 8th day. So therefore, you have to wait till Sunday, which is the 9th day from Friday. So you have to wait till Sunday, which is the 10th day from Friday. So nima la'asara. If Yom Tov la'achar Shabbos, remember in Eretz Yisrael there's a 1-day Yom Tov. So if Sunday is Yom Tov, now Mila Shaloi B'Smana is not Doicha Yom Tov either. So then you can't do it on Sunday. You have to do it on Monday, which is the 11th day. Nima la'achar aser. If Sunday and Monday are Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah is 2 days, so then you can't do it on Monday either. You have to wait till Tuesday, which is the 12th day. You have to wait till the 12th day. If a child was sick, let's say he had a fever, so then you don't do the mila until he gets better, and after he gets better, you wait 7 days me'es la'es. You wait 7 days, full 24 hours, and then you do the mila. Now we know that there are shreds of the mila that would invalidate the mila. If part of the foreskin is left, shreds from the foreskin, it would invalidate the mila. So elu hein tzitzim ha'ma'akfen es hamila. The following shreds invalidate the mila. Basar ha'choifa es roiva atara. The atara is the crown on top of the male organ. If it's a piece of flesh that covers the height of one part of the crown, even in one part, it disqualifies the mila. And then such a person is an oral, until he removes it, he can't eat truma. If let's say the person was corpulent, he was heavy, and the flesh hangs over and looks like it's covering the foreskin, misakdai, it should be corrected because it looks like he's not circumcised. If they removed the foreskin, but they didn't remove the membrane underneath, it's like the person wasn't circumcised. And now we'll learn from the Gemara in Shabbos on Daf Kuf Lamed Zayin. Mol v'loy para. In the event that the person was circumcised, but the membrane wasn't removed. Now, we said that what are tzitzim that are ma'akfen es hamila, we said if there's a shred that covers one point, the majority of the height of the crown in one point, Amar Ravina, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah Ba'abba, Amar Rav Basar HaChayfa, Es Roiv Goyver Shel HaTorah, the majority of the height of the crown. V'im Bal Basar, now, Amar Shmuel, Cotton HaMesurbel B'Basar. You have a child that there's fat that hangs over the gid. In other words, they did Namila, but after circumcised, it looks like the fat is covering the crown. Ryan, I say, we examine Kol's manshim is kasha. If when the male organ is erect, veniramal, if when it's erect you could see that it's circumcised because it sticks out, then ain't it tzarich lama. But if even when it's erect, it's covered with the fat, tzarich lama, you have to cut the extra away. But masnisa tana, the Brisa words it differently. Shimon Gamliel Omer katna mesuba babasar, Ryan I say kol's manshim is kasha. If when it's erect, the einoi niramal, and he's clearly, it clearly doesn't look circumcised, tzarech lemulai, you have to recircumcise. V'mlav ain't tzarech lemulai. So now, it's interesting. They're saying the same thing, but one says that if it's erect and he seems to be, and he's circumcised, you don't have to circumcise. But here he says, if it's erect and he's not circumcised, then you have to circumcise. So what's the difference between the two? My beinayu. Iki beinayu nira ve'ena nira. The difference between them is where the aver is erect and part of it is exposed and part of it is covered. So according to the first one, according to the first one that says nira mol, he has to be seen to be circumcised. That means it all has to seem to be circumcised. When the one says nira eina mol, it means if he's clearly not circumcised. But if it's partial exposed and partial not exposed, that's enough that you don't have to do a further surgery. Now, the Gemara now tells us about the brachas. We know that the moil makes a bracha, the father makes a bracha. Tan Rabbanan, Hamol Omer Asher Kitshanu b'mitzvos v'tzivanu ala milah. The mole says that Hashem sanctifies us with mitzvahs and commanded us on the milah. Avi Ben Omer, the father says, a very interesting bracha. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvos, he sanctified us with the mitzvahs, v'tzivanu, and instructed us lachnisai b'brisai shel Avram Avinu, to enter into the covenant of Avram, because milah was first given to Avram. Ha'im de'maimim, those that stand there say, kishem shenichlas l'bris, just like he entered into the bris, kach yikanes l'tayra l'chuppah l'maisim tovim. So he should be for Torah and chuppah and maisim tovim. I remember hearing from the Friedrich Klaus Megareba, the Shefa Chaim Zech Tzabatosh Brach Schus Yagan Aleinu, he said once by a bris that just like the bris is done azoivi the tata and mama, the child doesn't have an opinion. So whatever the tata mama wants, mitzitza b'peh, whatever the tata mama wants, the child does. So also he should learn Torah according to the minhagim and the ways of his parents. He should marry who his parents feel is suitable for him. He should do good deeds. He should follow in the minhagim of the tata and the mama. And the mechabed, the rav, usually, or a zayda with the bracha, says, Asher kidesh yedid mi beten. He sanctified the beloved one from the womb. That's Yitzchak. The mitzvah milah was given about Yitzchak before Yitzchak was born. And he's considered Yedid, the beloved one, because that's what Hashem said, that he should take Espincha, Yitzchak, Asher Ahavta, you love. And Chayk b'she'era Yisam, a statue is put in the flesh. V'tzetzav, and his descendants, Chosam, are sealed b'ois bris kodesh, with the sign of the covenant of holiness. Al Kain, therefore, b'schar zois, in this reward that we mal our children, kel chai chalkeinu tzreinu, the Almighty One, the one who lives forever, our portion, our security, our rock, savei lahatzil yedidu sheirenu mishachas, command to save your beloved remnants from destruction and not to allow them to go to Gehenna. The bris should protect us from going into Gehenna. Laman brisa, because of the covenant asher sam b'b'sareinu that we place in our flesh. Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you Hashem, Keres habris, who made this pact, this covenant. Now, amoles hagerim, by a ger, you can't say v'tzetzav, because he's not the descendant of Avram and Yitzchak. So, you sanctified us with his mitzvahs, with tzivanu ala milah, commanded us with the milah. To circumcise the gerim. Sometimes the ger already was circumcised as a guy because of hospital procedure, and then you have to cause blood to drop from the area of the bris. Shel mole dam bris, because if not for the blood of the bris, lo niskaimu shemayim va'aretz, the world would not exist. Shenemar im lo vrisi yomam v'layla, if not for my covenant, which a person has on his body day and night, chukas shemayim va'aretz lo samti, I wouldn't have made the statutes of heaven and earth. Baruch atah Hashem keres habris. Now, there's also a mitzvah to circumcise your Canaanite slaves. So amoles avodim ayimashik shanu mitzvayis v'tzivanu ala milah. To circumcise a slave, and to cause the blood to drip, if not for the blood of the covenant, the statutes of heaven and earth wouldn't be upheld. If not for my covenant day and night, something, the ways of heaven and earth would not exist. We know that this pasuk of Imlai Brisi Yomim B'Layla is as a dual meaning. It means both the bris milah, and it also means the bris of Torah. And without Torah, the heavens and earth would not exist. And now we learn the Zayar. And the Zayar over here discusses the importance of Psukei Zimrei. Now, a lot of people, they come to shul late, and they skip most of Psukei Zimrei. But Psukei Zimrei is a very, very, very important tefillah. Kadosi Tzafra, when the morning arrives, V'tzibura ishtechachu b'beit kanishta, and the congregation is found in shul, bo lishtaka b'shirin v'sushbechon de David. They should be found engaged in the songs and praises of David, which is Psukei Zimrei. V'akimna the Sidura Iu, this arrangement, this arranged tefillah, is lis'ara, is to awaken richuma, Hashem's love, la'ela v'tata, for above and below, ula'askana tikunin, and to cause benefits to the Shechina HaKadoshah, ules'ara chedva, and to awaken joy. Because of this, the Levium in the Beis Hamikdash that accompany the Avodah with song, do it to awaken love and joy above, be'inon shirin v'sushbechon, with songs and praise. Now, on the other hand, as great it is to engage in praise to Hashem, one who instead talks secular, mundane things in shul, woe to him, for he causes a separation above between Kutsha Barichu Ushchinta. Vaile de Gora Mehamnusa, woe to him that he detracts from the faith, which the Bir Azayar, when he explains this, the Beer Isaiah says that Oiloi Shemechaser Yichud Kutche Barichu Ushchinte. He detracts from the union of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the Shechina. Vaile Delesle Chulka Be'elakadi Yisrael. Woe that he doesn't have a portion in the God of Israel. We know that in Shulchan Aruch it says that somebody who talks in shul is a chayte, and avoinoi gadol minasai. His sin is too heavy to bear. It's as if he shows da'alesa Eloha, that there's no God, because he wouldn't be behaving this way if there was a God in the shul. And he's not found there. And he's not afraid of him. And he acts with disgrace to the betterment of the one above. So it's a terrible thing to talk in shul. It makes it as if it's not God's house and God is not there. We know that God is there, right? That's why it's called a Mikdash Ma'at. But by talking and acting in a cavalier way, he's showing as if there's no God in the shul. And now the Zohar tells us that there's 3 sets of angels during the day. When Klal Yisrael arranges in shul the arrangement of songs and praises, and the Sidura D'Tzaisa, and the arrangement of the rest of prayer, Kedain at this time is Skanche Tlas Mashirian de Malachi Ilah. He gathers 3 camps of celestial angels. Mashir Yisachad, one camp, Inon Malochin Kadishin Ilan, these are the celestial holy angels, the Kameshapchen Lekutcha Barichu B'Yamama, that praise Hashem during the day, because he says, begin this Acharona, there's another set, the Kameshapchen Lekutcha Barichu B'Lalia, that praise Hashem in the night. The Acharon, or the Elon, these, Inon, these are those, the Kameshapchen Lekutcha Barichu, that praise Hashem, v'omen shirim v'sishbachen, ba'adayu d'Yisrael b'Yamama, that say song and praise together with Klal Yisrael during the day. Now this is a remarkable thing to think about, that when we say the Hallelujahs and when we say Ashrei, we are joined by a holy retinue of angels that accompany our shiras. Mashiryasa Tinyana, the second group of angels, Inon Malachin Kadishin, these are the holy angels, the Mishtakre B'Kol Kedusha, the Yisrael Mekache Lusata. They're very special tefillah. It's Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Like the Mishnah Berurah brings down that there's no time as beautiful in the eyes of Hashem like when the Yidden lift their eyes up and say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. So there's a special second group of angels that are found accompanying each Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Kol inon de misarin b'chol inon rekian. These are all those that are stirred in all the different levels of heaven by Tzlusa de Yisrael, with this specific prayer of Klal Yisrael when they're saying Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Now, Mashir Yasa Tlisa, the third camp, this is a camp like an entourage of Hashem. They're called like Esther had 7 Na'oros, Hanasunim La Mebeis HaMelech. So the Rabbi Nisham has an entourage, Sheva Na'oros Al Yoinais, that is together with the Shechina Kedosha. So Mashir Yasa Tlisa Inon Uleim Sign. These are the Uleim San Ilan. These are the celestial Na'oros, the Komistakne Imatronisa, that are the entourage of the matronisa, that's the shchinta, and prepare her and accompany her to greet Kutshabarichu. Right? That's the matronisa that greets Kutshabarichu. The Elon Inon Mashirian Elon Al Kulu. And this group is the highest level of angels. The Kulu Mistakne Besiduridim Israel, and all of them are brought to their perfection through the arrangement of the Tefillah of Yisrael, the Mistakne Lasata, which they do below. And Be'inon Shira v'Sishpachen, with the songs and the praises, Ubahait Slosad the Kamatzalu Yisrael, and with the prayers that Klal Yisrael prays besides the Psuk de Zimra. Kavan the Ilon Tlas Mashirnim is dominant. These three camps are readied. Kedain Yisrael, when Klal Yisrael Posrei Shirsei v'Zamrei Kamei Moreyan, when Klal Yisrael opens with songs and praise before their master. Vahi Mashir Yosa Chada, the first group, the Mimana L'Shapcha L'Moreyan B'Mama, that is appointed to praise Hashem during the day, is Daman Alayu, is in charge, the Zamrei Imhoin Kechada, and praise like in unison with Klal Yisrael, Be'inon Shivkei de David Malka, with the praises of David our king, V'Kimna Milei. So we have a vision over here that when we say Shiras V'Sishbachas in Shul, we're not just saying it by ourselves, but when we say it, first of all, we say that by saying it, we are ma'ira, we awaken joy, chedva, and we awaken rechima, love, in Shemayim. And also we're joined by pure celestial angels that join us, and we also activate the other two camps of angels. I should add over here that the Heilige B'nai Yissaschar says that Zimra also means to prune. The word lezamer means to prune. And Psukah de Zimre, a benefit of Psukah de Zimre, is that when we say Psukah de Zimre, we cut away the mekatrigim, the prosecutors. Remember that when we praise Hashem, it gives us a reason to live. Like we say, what profit would there be? Offer, would the earth thank you? Hayagid amitecha. But Shema Hashem v'chaneni, give me freebies. Hashem eyeh L'man yizamercha chavi. I'm going to sing about your covenant. And when I sing, I cut away the prosecutors. V'lo yidayim. Hashem alikai la'olam eideka. And now we learn the Musaf, again from Shari Kedusha, which again tells us how heinous, how awful is arrogance. A person that's full of himself. And that's misgah over other people. Hageya, one who is haughty, ki'ilu doichik ragle Hashem, it's as if he's pushing away the feet of Hashem. Umistalekes min ha'olam, and causes Hashem to back away from the world. V'aimeres ein ani v'hu yachol lodur yachad ba'olam. I and he can't live together in the world. He's rebelling against Hashem. It's like he steals the robes of Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One. Hashem Hashem wears gayus. Hashem wears the haughtiness, and therefore Hashem wears grandeur. And therefore, by usurping that, he's taking the robes of the king. But what should a person really be haughty about? He comes from a smelly drop, from semen. He's created from damnida because his mother, when he nurses him, the milk comes from the damnida, dam nechar v'nasa chalav. Uvechayev tina fesirchim. In his lifetime, he's but dirt and stink. After death, he becomes maggots and worms. V'achris gufa gush offer. At the end, his earth becomes into a clump of, his body decays into a clump of earth. And if he's haughty, his soul goes down to Ganem. What's he being haughty about? Amnon, ha'anava, humility, v'ashiflis, and lowliness, ain midah g'daylei mena. When a person is humble, there's nothing greater than it. Ki Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom, Moshe Rabbeinu, of blessed memory, Rabban shel kol hanavim, the Rebbe of all prophets, who is the giant b'Torah, in Torah, b'mitzvahs, and in all the mitzvahs, Moshe Rabbeinu is b'gematria taryag, or b'yiras Hashem, or b'yiras achet, and fear of sin. Loi nishtabech. The only thing he's praised is elabanava. He had so many other attributes. He was dedicated. He was loyal. He was an amazing davener. He was the Rebbe of all of Klal. But what was he? He was praised for humility. V'ish Moshe anav ma'od mikol adam. Say elaman min HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Look at how Hashem acts with humility. Sheminiach shmei marim. He forsakes the highest heavens. V'yared lishkan eitzel hashval. And he comes down to live here on earth with the lowly people. Shenem amarim v'kadosh eshkain. Hashem dwells holy up high. V'estakesh shval ruch. But he's found by those that are crushed and lowly of spirit. Uksiv kav Hashem l'nishber elev. Hashem is close to those that are brokenhearted. Uksiv mi yogur ba'elecha. Who is going to dwell in the tent of Hashem? Nivze, a person who is feels shamed and disgraced, be'ein of nimas, who looks repulsive in his eyes. If he doesn't think about himself so much, that's who dwells with Hashem. Now the Rambam tells us in Hilchos Kriya Shema, Safek kara Kriya Shema, Safek loy kara. If a person is not sure whether he said Kriya Shema or not, that's already a Safek Daraisa. Chayzer v'kara, he should say Kriya Shema again. And once he says Kriya Shema again, since Kriya Shema is made with brachas, umavarch lefanei la'achrei. He should make brachas before and afterwards. Avalim yada shekara. He knows he said Kriya Shema. He's just not sure if he said the brachas. V'nestapik lo yimberich lefanei la'achrei. Brachas are drabanan. Safek drabanan lekula. Then, if he's not sure if he said it, he doesn't make the brachas again. Karavita, if he started saying Kriya Shema and he made a mistake, so he should go back to the place where he made the mistake. Nela mimenu, if he stopped somewhere, but he doesn't remember where he stopped. Nela mimenu bein parsha leparsha. So here the Rambam says a very big chiddush. Since even though V'ahavta is not really the beginning of the parsha, the beginning of the parsha is Shema, but since people say Shema Baruch Shem and then stop, so if he's not sure where he stopped, he doesn't know where he stopped and where he has to start. He should go back to V'ahavta, because maybe he stopped after Baruch Shem and he forgot. If he made a mistake in the middle of the parak, and he doesn't remember where he stopped, he knows he got confused. He stopped somewhere, he doesn't know where. Go back to the beginning of that chapter. If he was saying Chsaftam, and he's not sure if it was the Chsaftam al mezuzahs of V'ahavta, or if it was the Chsaftam al mezuzahs of Oyim Shmaya, so of course he has to go back to the first Uchsaftam. However, if he already said Laman Yirbu, and then he said, was it the first one or the second one? Then he could be sure that he said the second one already. Then he doesn't have to go back to the first one. He could assume that his mouth went the correct way, and therefore then he just starts from Laman Yirbu, and he doesn't have to go back to the first Uchesaftam. We want to thank you for joining us and wish you a wonderful day.